This deal go down?
You know, it's been in the works for a while, back when Travis Kalanick and Emil Michael were still working in operational roles at the company. Uber's been negotiating this for a while, and I think it was just clear that they weren't going to have the lead position. You know, I think it's basically a 2-to-1 ratio. You know, imagine a revenue run rate of, you know, $1 billion for Yandex Taxi and about 500 million for Uber. So Uber was just behind here, and you know, they got a big stake of this negotiated new company. So I think it was a good deal in a market that they weren't going to win, and that they were losing, you know, in excess of 150 million in.
So Yandex, Caroline, is of course the Google of Russia. They've got search, they've got mail, music, video. Why did Uber decide to wave the white flag?
Yeah, it seems that the Yandex Taxi was just too successful for it. As we heard, it's got about 2-to-1 ratio in terms of gross bookings. But this is a company that also was willing to splash the cash to diversify. It is like the Google. It's mainly dependent on search. I just dig into the Bloomberg, type in FA Go on Yandex, and you'll see that just 3% of revenue is currently coming from taxis. But they're trying to, of course, diversify themselves away from the 88% that they get in terms of search. They're willing to spend, and I think all of this shows, Emily, that once again, competitive barriers to entry aren't that high for these sorts of businesses. They can be copied because Yandex only got in like 2011. It went separate from the overall parent business in 2015 called Yandex Taxi. It can get in, they can throw money at the situation, and notably, the regulators prefer domestic players, and Uber was having to pay quite a lot in terms of VAT due to a new tax from Putin.
David, it's easy to say Uber made a mistake by entering Russia in the first place here, just like they did in China, or did they?
Well, if you think about the math, they're getting, what, 30-some% of a $3.7 billion business, which I calculated makes their portion worth over $1.3 billion, which has got to be more than they've invested. So that's not such a terrible outcome. I think Caroline has it entirely right that what we're really seeing more and more is that ride-hailing, despite Uber's strengths, is not a winner-take-all, increasing returns, network effect business. And therefore, you know, they're just going to have to strategically choose their markets. And this is a country where a non-Russian company would have had a very hard time ever dominating. In fact, I don't think it would have been allowed.